Scholars believe Jesus was honorably buried by Joseph of Arimathea because of the early historical evidence. Mark writes, Joseph of Arimathea went in before Pilate and asked for the body of Jesus. And Pilate granted the body to Joseph. And Joseph took him down, wrapped him in the linen cloth, and laid him in a tomb which had been hewn out in the rock. And he rolled a stone against the entrance of the tomb. Jewish archaeologist Dr. Gabriel Barkai is considered to be the foremost authority on tombs in Jerusalem during the time of Jesus. I asked him if archaeological evidence supports the description given in the Gospels about the tomb in which Jesus was buried.
The fact that it was a rich man's tomb. We have most probably the allusion to the fact that it was outside the city of Jerusalem. We have the stone found unrolled 3 days later. We have very little, but altogether we have about 1,000 burial caves from the time of Jesus surrounding Jerusalem. And the details that we have in the Gospels about the burial of Jesus, they fit well with the evidence that we have in the field.
I was somewhat amused when Peter Jennings on the ABC special said that according to the Gospels, Jesus was laid in the tomb by his mother and his friends. Now, if the story of Jesus' burial were a late developing legend that accrued over the decades in the early Christian church, that is exactly the sort of pious story that one would expect to find. Jesus was buried by his devoted mother and his faithful disciples. But that's not, in fact, what the Gospels say. Instead, what the Gospels say is that Jesus of Nazareth was laid in a tomb by this enigmatic figure, Joseph of Arimathea, who appears out of nowhere in the Gospels, and contrary to expectation, gives Jesus of Nazareth an honorable burial in a tomb. Moreover, Mark tells us that this man was a member of the Sanhedrin, the very council which had just condemned Jesus to be crucified, and that Joseph singles out Jesus among the trio of men that had been crucified for special care by giving him an honorable burial in a tomb rather than allowing the body to simply be dispatched into a common grave reserved for criminals. This is extraordinary and requires some sort of explanation.